Thousands of federal workers were fired yesterday. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Friday, February 14th. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. The Trump administration directed agency heads yesterday to terminate most of their probationary staff. Workers were laid off in messages delivered through pre-recorded videos and on group calls. Some were ordered to leave the building within 30 minutes. Others were told they would formally be fired by emails, which never arrived. The Post is reporting that the move could affect as many as 200,000 employees. Workers within their 1-year probationary period typically have little protection from being fired without cause. But the largest union representing federal workers said it would fight the firings with legal challenges. Employees working on public safety and law enforcement issues might be spared. This directive is another step toward the Trump administration's goal of drastically shrinking the federal government. That effort is being led by billionaire Elon Musk. His DOGE team has turned its attention to the education department, cutting contracts, staff, and grants. President Trump has made it clear that he wants the education department to be shut down. Number 2.
On this vote, the yeas are 52, the nays are 48. The confirmation is confirmed.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was confirmed as health secretary. The Senate voted yesterday to make Kennedy President Trump's Health and Human Services secretary. It means the anti-vaccine activist will have oversight of a nearly $2 trillion health portfolio. He's pledged to improve Americans' nutrition, rates of chronic disease, and life expectancies, all under the rallying cry to make America healthy again. He was sworn in yesterday afternoon at the White House.
For 20 years, I've gotten up every morning on my knees and prayed that God would put me in a position where I can end the childhood chronic disease epidemic in this country. On August 23rd of last year, God sent me President Trump. All right. And he gave me...
August 23rd last year was when Kennedy suspended his own presidential campaign before endorsing Trump. His swearing in capped a long confirmation fight. The only Republican who voted against him was former Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell. McConnell's childhood bout with polio has informed his ardent support for vaccines, even amid increasing vaccine skepticism within his own party. Number 3. Ukraine and its European allies are alarmed by the Trump administration's recent moves. Yesterday, I told you about Trump's call with Russian President Vladimir Putin. The leaders spoke on Wednesday about ending the war in Ukraine. But the announcement of that call made no mention of Europe, and that has played into fears of European leaders that their defense interests will fall by the wayside if Trump sidelines them in talks with Russia. Meanwhile, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth yesterday tried to walk back his remarks from Wednesday that Ukraine's peace goals were, quote, unrealistic.
These negotiations are led by President Trump. Everything is on the table in his conversations with Vladimir Putin and Zelensky. What he decides to allow or not allow is at the purview of the leader of the free world, of President Trump. So I'm not going to stand at this podium and declare what President Trump will do or won't do.
Hegseth's comments have rattled Ukraine. They were widely seen in Europe as weakening Ukraine's position at the bargaining table. Number 4. A 3D analysis shows how helicopter pilots could have mixed up 2 jets in the Washington, D.C. plane crash. Late last month, an Army helicopter collided with a passenger jet over the Potomac River. 67 people were killed. The causes of the collision remain under investigation. Aviation experts have raised the possibility that after being alerted by air traffic controllers to the presence of the jet, the helicopter crew might have mistaken that plane for another incoming jet in the distance. To analyze this theory, the Post made a 3D model to recreate the view the crew likely had from inside the helicopter cockpit. It shows that the two jets may have appeared nearly aligned to the helicopter crew. You can take a look for yourself. You'll find a link to the reconstruction in today's newsletter. Just follow the link in our show notes. There is more evidence of bird flu spreading to people. That's our fifth story. A CDC report published yesterday said that some veterinarians who provide care for cattle were unknowingly infected with bird flu last year. The report is the latest evidence that the outbreak is spreading undetected in cows, and that the spillover into people with a high risk of exposure is going unnoticed. This concerning report was supposed to be published 3 weeks ago, but it was delayed by the Trump administration's directive to federal health agencies to pause all external communications. Public health experts have criticized this holdup of critical information about bird flu. Number 6. Dangerously cold air will surge across the U.S. starting this weekend. After a half-month hiatus, the polar vortex is back. That's the mass of frigid air that spills out of the North Pole to make everyone further south very cold. Ushering in the vortex is the third winter storm of the week. That will track from western states today to the East Coast on Sunday. The storm will bring accumulating snow or ice to around a dozen states. From there, the vortex will bring sub-zero temperatures to around 100 million people across the nation through next week. Stay warm out there. And at number 7, an important piece of Roman history was found underneath an office basement in London. Almost 2,000 years ago, the Romans built what is known as a basilica. We don't know exactly what it was used for, but it was effectively a town hall where city leaders made key political and economic decisions. For a long time, archaeologists have known where London's ancient Roman basilica was, but they were only recently able to access it because of planned construction, and they were amazed by what they found. Substantial parts of the building have survived. The team found massive foundations and walls made of flint, ragstone, and Roman tile. Archaeologists hope to continue excavations and discover how the basilica was decorated, and to see if any Romans left behind inscriptions. You can take a look at the discovery in our newsletter today. You already know where to find that. It's in our show notes. That's the show for this week. And this is your friendly reminder that it's Valentine's Day. Make sure you lock down your flowers first thing this morning. You don't want to be the person picking up the last wilted bunch of roses from CVS at the end of the day. Take it from me. The associate producer of The 7 is Taylor White. The staff writers are me and Jamie Ross. John Taylor is our editor. Additional editing by Christina Quinn. Copy editing by Melissa No and Thomas Haliba. Mixing and sound design is by Jim Briggs and Justin Garish. Our theme music is by Edith Mudge. Renita Jablonski is our director of audio. I'm Hannah Jewell. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. We will be off on Monday for President's Day, but we'll still be sending a newsletter. Sign up for that in our show notes, and I'll meet you back here on Tuesday.